was some travel complications with some of the guys getting back. What happened there?
It's just it's just something that there's nothing you can do about weather delays and things like that. But there was a flight change that didn't get communicated to us until Friday. Our game was Saturday. It affected our return flight, so we had to scramble, try and find new flights. 2 of them went off without a hitch, so we got 13 of the players back at the time we wanted to get them back. But then there were 5 guys that were stuck because we had 4. We had to spread over 4 flights. We had 5 guys get stuck on 2 flights that then hit weather delays and another cancellation. So some of the guys didn't get back till like 9, 10 o'clock at night last night.
Who were those 5 guys?
It doesn't matter. We got 13 back and 5. We didn't get back till later, but it was something that just a little miscommunication. Hopefully that won't happen in the future, and we'll be aware of changes earlier. So, but it happens. I heard LA sat in Dallas because of weather delays for 6.5 hours as well. So, it's just something that happens sometimes. But weather delays, those are unavoidable. There's nothing you can do about it. But the original flight change is something that needs to be communicated earlier. But it happens.
Did the new CBA fiddle at all in terms of more or less what y'all can do in terms of charters?
I don't know if it really addressed that. I don't think charters. Obviously that's the ideal thing if we can do that. There's two places for us in Seattle that are difficult to get into. Is Columbus because we got to connect, and the other one is Montreal. And so those are the 2 that probably a charter could help, because anytime you got a connection, then you got to deal with not only your plane, does it have a delay or a mechanical problem, the next one, does it have a delay or a mechanical problem. It just makes for a long day. And last thing you want to do is equivalent for us to get the one group out. We were getting up. We were on the bus at 6 o'clock in the morning, so that's equivalent to 3 a.m. So when you get up at 3 a.m. and you get back at 10 at night, that's a long freaking day. You could probably gone to Lagos and back.
Is that how you guys usually do it? Is 4 flights for?
No. We're all on the same flight.
Oh, okay,
we're on the same flight. Yeah, but because of the situation with the one flight cancellation was an unacceptable connection for us, because it would have been like a 4 or 5 hour layover. So we're trying to find alternatives. So we ended up finding 4 alternatives that all seemed to work. 2 of those went off without a hitch, and then 2 didn't go off without a hitch. So luckily we got the majority of the guys on the one flight. We had 13 on one.
So looking at the schedule even before the year, it seemed like this was going to be a particularly tough stretch, just the way that Columbus is playing and the way that Vancouver is playing. Is this the toughest stretch you guys have all year, just in terms of games and travel and all that?
Well, playing 3 away is always going to be tough. We're a good road team, but it's tough to imagine you're going to go 3-0 necessarily on the road. The game in Vancouver is the more important game because it's a 6-point game. But I thought Columbus played well. They were sharp. They were really intense. They were probably a little pissed off over their result the week before, and we had to go cross country twice, and we were maybe a half a step slow, and so it just didn't turn out to be our day. But we were still there at the end of the game, knocking on the door, trying to get the 3-3. So even with their I thought their sharpness and how well they played, we were right there still.
At least superficially, it seems like Columbus and Vancouver are similar teams. They got younger guys, play similar style. What will be similar about this weekend, and what's different about those 2 teams?
Every team's a little bit different. They're similar in terms of they got younger players, and they try and get forward and they try and run at you a little bit. But I don't think Vancouver pushes their outside backs quite as high. So it's a little bit different. Are their center backs the same or not? That's something that we can tell. But for sure, we're going to be a different team going into Vancouver. So.
Some added intensity with the Cascadia Cup game on.
Well, just added intensity. We're a proud team. It's a team that doesn't care to lose 2 in a row, and that's something we pride ourselves in. And so we're going to come back, and we get to stay in the same time zone now. We get to relax. We don't have to get on an airplane. We don't expect the bus to break down on the way up there, and things should go much better for us.
Oh. With a veteran player that was such a big part of the team last season, in Gonzalez, how has he taken not being a starter for as long as he has?
Leo's a fantastic professional. He's actually done more work than Remick than I think anybody in the coaching staff has. And we still need Leo. Leo's an important player to our team, and we've got important games coming up, and we've got a crowded fixture schedule that's going to come up, as we roll into June, July, and August, and we're going to be missing players for national team commitments. So there's still plenty of soccer ahead of him, and he's a great pro. He comes out, he trains hard every day. I have nothing but good things to say about Leo.
What did you think of Rose's performance in the last game when he came to maybe doing that defensively and offensively part? It seemed like his wing was exposed quite a few times.
I think overall. Overall we were exposed a little bit, and that was just being slow. It wasn't just Andy, so I could point to a few other guys as well, so we got stretched a little bit in midfield. We sort of had the wrong balance sometimes. We had, different people in front and behind, and we needed to be more compact, and we needed to make sure we didn't get stretched. So I think our decision making was not as good as it needed to be.
Maybe particularly compared to the Defense Player of the Year season that he had last year. What are you making of Marshall's season so far?
He's done well. he hasn't been poor. He got beat on Kamara's goal. I think Kamara got a step on him to the near post, and it was a good cross. And Chad will be the first one to hold up his hand and say he was a little late recognizing that. He had him early in the play, and then as the play redeveloped on the wing, Kamara got a bit of separation and got that step. So but I think he's done well. Again, defensively, we've had 2 games, San Jose and this one. And outside of that, I think we've been okay. We got to make sure we don't give up as many opportunities as we did in this last game, for sure.
Most of the time it seems like you guys kind of take the what's past is past view on results from last season, for example. But Vancouver coming to Seattle and beating you guys to win the Cascadia Cup, is that a result that sticks in maybe your guys' crowd a little bit more than most others would?
Yeah, it does, but it's last season, and every year's a new year, and so for us we've got to do a better job with them. They're also, last year they were a team that was trying to push to get into the playoffs and make the playoffs, and I think at the end of the season that game was a game where they wanted it a little bit more than we needed it, I guess is the best way to say it. But now it's a situation where they're in first place. We want to close that gap. It's a 6-point game, and I think that's the motivation for the game this year. I don't think we have to look to last year for motivation. We just have to look up at the standings this year, and that's our motivation.